Hi. That should work. Let's get our tablet. Okay. Oh, I forgot to get lives. Okay. There go here. Okay. There we go. Okay, let's get working. Alright, so let's go ahead and drag the opacity down on this. Get a new layer. Lock our previous one. Okay. Now we're going to do some really fine pen work. Here is our... Okay, so we're going to use this pen. Yeah, we're going to use this pen, and we're going to get it, like, really fine, like, down at, like... I don't know, I think 5 should do it. How's this look? I just think we're a little too close for that. Okay, yeah, that's a really fine pen tip. And again, it's fine if we're wobbling a bit because we actually want like all of these imperfections in our coastlines. Well, maybe not that last one. So let's try this again. All right, and oh, gotta get our lines matched. Okay, this is looking good. There we go. That bind's working now. This is going well. There we go. So let's grab this, come over here. Okay. And luckily this is going to be our final border on this, and so then we can move forward starting to put in terrain features like mountains and rivers, although that's going to be a chore. Yeah. Okay, we're going to do the main continent first, and then we'll come back for all the islands and stuff. Hey, Amber. Oh, I guess the little Ember wants attention. It's like, don't you, Ember? Yeah? Yeah, of course you do. All right. Say hello to chat. All right. And hey, Amber. Okay, so let's go ahead and going along here. Oh, damn it. There we go. And there we go. So, yeah, a lot more natural on that. So let's go ahead and get the lower area here. Okay. Okay. And we just need the islands up top. Oh, and the lakes. We'll get the lakes in a second. All right. Islands are done. Let's go ahead and get the seas and the Great Lakes. All right, that's going to be half of our world. It's like inked there. Yeah. Okay, so if we were to take a look at this and get rid of the and get rid of the background, just there. See, it's got a nice, like, defined shape with all those imperfections that we like. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the other one. And let's go ahead and just pull in here. Hello, Lady Irene. Oh. And then we're just going to get this little hook right here. Let's zoom in slightly more. There we go. There's our cursor. Okay, and now okay. Oh, actually, I do need to check one thing. Okay, yes, sounds good. Okay. All right, so let's go over to here. Let's continue this round. Oh. And you know what? It's right here. We're going to just grab this little island. Okay. Perfect. Getting some nice little jagged and wavy edges to all this. Okay. About halfway around this continent. Okay. Just up the coastline, rejoin our line, and we'll be ready for some mountains. Oh, sorry. Okay, so the center part here is ocean, and we have two land masses on the east and west. We'll be putting on a layer here that'll show you where like the mountains are here in a second. Just gotta finish getting this last little bit done. Yeah, no, we're just doing this really close because we're using the fact that our stability is off to get all these like little waves and imperfections along the coastlines. So and I'll do a recap of what we've done so far here in just a second, as soon as we join this line back up. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and lock this layer before we break anything and turn this off. Okay, so here's our eastern and western continents along with this little subcontinent down here. Starting off, we came down here and we basically drew our original supercontinent. And then we basically used just a bunch of scribbling of lines and broke it into plates. If I would turn on layers. We took those plates, we made them into an entire group, and then we basically shoved them in the way they should have gone. From there, we basically scribbled out, where our subductions zones are, mountain ranges, or slip faults. And then with that, we kind of just drew a landmass around all of those. We then did a couple basically traces of it, getting finer and finer until now we're on these. And so now we can start putting in mountains where these orange ones are. And as you can see, our lowlands basically turned into some lakes and an ocean ridge. But from here, yeah, we're going to be doing some mountains. So let's go ahead and grab a new layer. No, yeah, we're going to be doing this very by the book. As soon as we get the mountains up, we're going to be starting with but we're going to put in mountains and rivers, and then we're going to start running on the trade winds and ocean currents. But that may take a bit because we're going to be fiddling with mountains. Yeah, we're going to be using a very fine, well, no, probably for the actual mountain part, we can use our 5-point brush. And now we just kind of got to get a shape that we really want. So let's go over to a ridge, shall we? Like right over here. All right. And we'll kind of just, kind of just like that. No, not in love with that. Let's cut our brush just a little bit. Maybe down to a 3-point. Yeah, no. The only reason we have lakes here is because these are some lowlands, and the water's just going to pool there no matter where the rainfall is. Especially with mountains here, any storms that go over these mountains are just going to drop everything. But anyway, yeah, let's see here. Let's experiment with a couple shapes of mountains. Actually, you know what? Why don't we just kind of drop off into this white space up here? So we can do our standard, like mountain there. Oh, we are way too close. We can do, like little peaks. We can do a more shallow kind of thing. Actually, the shallow one's kind of... Well, let's try merging these two, actually. Let's do a And then maybe... I mean, that could be fun. Then, you know, do something like go down to a 0 point or a 1 point brush. Come in here and just be like... Okay, well, that line didn't work. But how does it look from further out? Honestly, that doesn't look half bad. Okay, I think I'll be going with these. Kind of one side's kind of sharper, and then one tapers off. And we can kind of just flip those as we go. Oh, what is the key to flip? I should check that. But first, let's move back up here. Let's see, we're on 3 points, so let's go to 10 point and just kind of go ahead and drop these away. Okay. All right, so kind of something like, oh, right, turn off eraser. So just, yeah, kind of. No, don't like that. Nope. No, I don't want them like sitting within each other. Well, okay, so originally I started learning the rules for Warhammer 40k. And I love the combat rules, but I really don't like the setting. I find it just too depressing for me. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just make my own factions and we'll use the same rules. And I went to start making units for them and went, I have no idea what they're for. So let's start making their culture. And so I started on this world, which is the first of 12. And I've got my little Draven. They're adorable, in my opinion. But, you know, you start making their culture, and then you ask yourself, I'll just use a gender-neutral language, even though they have 7 genders. And then you realize that, well, wait, no, they have 7 genders. Their language would be totally gendered. And then you wonder, what the hell is that even look like? And then next thing you know, you have a 600-word proto-language going and can call somebody cute in your own language, which is Zintel. But... and then you start government and education, and then you're like, well, how did they get there? You start making a history, then you start making a planet, then you start making animals for the planet. And now you're here. And my cursor, there we go. So yeah, we're just gonna... and we can just vary these a bit so that none are exactly the same, but we all want them to be kind of like following this line, but not always. Yeah, and like I said, this is the first of 12 worlds, and I haven't even really touched the other ones. I mean, like, the first 5, I at least have the race names and what they look like, but this one... I've got currency, I've got government, I even have 2 religions. I've got 5 little proto-civilizations, one of which is gonna be forming in the, if I can get this to pan correctly, there's a desert right here, along with some savanna and grasslands. They're gonna form like right here. Well, somewhere in there. We'll see where the river falls. I do like those mountains. Those look nice from this distance. Okay, well, let's keep making mountains. And we can kind of just like double them up since they're going to be... oh, no, don't like that one. Oh, I guess I should actually show like what the hell a drop even looks like. Hang on. Let me grab a picture. Okay, let's do image, add image. Google Drive. Where are my photos? There they are. Photos. Commissioned work. Oh god. Oh god. That is too big. That is far too big. Fit screen. Oh god. Okay, hang on. Oh god. Ah! Okay, I broke everything. Hang on. Oh god, how do I fit this to the screen? Transform. Oh, here, fit to screen. There we go. That's a drawing. Hey, X. Okay, and oh, and now I've broken Twitch chat. Okay. And then also we can get back to drawing. Okay, and now I can see chat again. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep doing these little mountains. Okay. Actually, no, there's going to be a break in the mountains right there. Okay, and luckily these orange areas, these are just guidelines. As we know, nature is, if nothing else, messy. Never exact lines. And never quite where things are supposed to be. I don't like that one, that's too big. But yeah, no, they have there's an entire magic system as well. For this world, most magic comes from various rocks, minerals, and gems found throughout the world. A couple examples is let's see, you have weeping stones, which basically slowly secrete water. Just from nothing. Well, from magic, which is connected to the void, but that's an entirely other thing. You have force gold, that basically like 90% of any like impact that hits it is just nullified. So it makes great armor. It makes awful weapons. Let's see, you've got float silver, which if you were to get a absolutely 100% pure bar of float silver, it would leave the planet because it just repels itself away. Let's see, crimson mercury, which just kind of by being in an area creates like random pushes and pulls along against biological things. So just, you know, you'll be walking near it and you just suddenly get shoved to the right. Let's see. You've got other things like heat lead, which just gives off a low level, you know, a good amount of heat. Let's see. You've got certain crystals that just absorb, various light in the area. If there happen to be a colored crystal, then they only absorb that color. So imagine just tossing a green crystal in the room, and suddenly there's just no green light anywhere. There's one that makes electricity whenever you put the crystal under pressure. So, like, you ever heard of like a diamond saw or an arc cutter? Well, you could literally have a diamond arc cutter. Well, in theory. Oh, no, don't like that. What else did I have on this world? I like the flatness. I don't like how big that is. Okay. I mean, those are looking pretty good. We're going to come back and add the little line down the center, and we might even do a little shading on them just to give them something else. But let's come over here. Let's see, and basically the Draven of this world will get magic, but it's not like something you learn. It's kind of something you're born with, and it's kind of based on generational exposure to these metals. So, like, if you are from a line of blacksmiths who used a bunch of heat lead to heat up their furnaces, then you will gain some of that magic and be able to use magic to create heat. However, magic does have a consequences. So if there's basically two types of use of magic. You either create or emit something, or you absorb and dissipate something. So while some could use magic to create heat and basically pull magic out of the void, the flip side is if you can absorb heat and create cold, then you would be sinking magic back into the void. And the void is basically like the great kind of like energy pool that all this runs off of. Because magic doesn't come from nothing. But if nope. But basically, in each one has their overuses, and there's various degrees. Like, if you are channeling magic into the world or emitting it, then once you go past your like local store of magic, then it'll start feeding off your body, and so you'll start burning through fat, and eventually organs, bones, and once you stop using it, you'll just get like ravenously hungry because your body's going to want to refuel that. And that's basically known as going into depletion. If you're absorbing magic, you can't absorb it forever. I mean, like you have a like a capacity that you can absorb up to. If you go over that, then it's going to start adding the energy to you in any way it can, be it increase in weight, rapid regeneration, extreme hyperness. And if you still go over that, then it may... How do I put this? De-age you, but for the difference between where you are and where you're de-aged to, you will lose a proportion of your memories. So, yeah, you're basically immortal. You're just not going to be the same person. And, well, that was quite the rabbit hole you got me to go down. But that's fine. I like sharing. Okay, so let's see. How does that look? Like, if we turn the guide layer off, how does this look? Not bad, honestly. Okay, let's come over here and let's create these nice little mountain range that's formed up here. Okay. Okay, we're gonna kind of just trail this into a uneven shape. Just kind of like this. Let's see, do we want to break there? No, I don't think we're gonna leave a break in that. It's like we'll just kind of thin out the mountains a bit. Kind of give these a more like flat look. Okay. Now we can start picking up their peaks again over here. Nah, you know what? Let's try that. Okay. This is going well. Okay, how's that look without the guide layer? Pretty good, honestly. Like, let's just pan up a bit. I don't know. Do I want to join those or do I want to leave the mountain pass? I kind of want to join those. Yeah, let's go ahead and join these together, shall we? Nah, I think there's one like right here. That looks pretty good. Okay, where's that layer again? 5, yep. Okay. Okay. Good, good. Yeah, I don't know. That one, I don't need that little. Okay. It looks pretty good. And then I think we just have the southern mountains, right? Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have these kind of these like little sloped on one side. You know, kind of just doing this. And then here they're gonna kind of get flatter, 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 and then just kind of like peter out of here because this is a slip fault. So it's just, this is gonna grind down a lot of stuff. And then as we start going towards the center here, we're gonna kind of go into this more kind of pointed language. You know, kind of like we're just gonna have some very like kind of aggressive peaks right here. Yep. Don't like that. And then we just bring ourselves back to these kind of sloping peaks. How does that look? Oh god, it's grid patterned. Oh, I don't like that at all. Oh man. Okay. Let's grab here. Let's grab the, oh, maybe not that big. Let's grab the eraser. Let's just kind of, no. Like the bottom part's fine. That part's fine. Yeah, no. Oh, no. I think it's close to what I'm gonna get. Okay. Okay, let's just start scatter. Oh, I'm at 5. I need to be at 3. Okay. You know what? Let's split this into like a collection of ridges. right? Yeah. And then let's kind of do something like that. That I can do. Also, before I forget, really cute stretch. All right, all right. Okay. Yeah. Now let's see here. Let's do kind of. Don't like that. Nope. Okay. I think we're going to just break the mountains up just a bit. Just because a solid block of them is just not, it's just not going to work. Like, if we pull out now and we take a look at it. See, now that looks more interesting, because now there's gaps and stuff. So yeah, we're going to do that. Okay, so let's see, I believe that's all for this continent. Quick look here. Okay, and we're going to come down and come back and put some details on them in just a bit, but let's go ahead and come over to this other continent. Let's get these mountains down. Okay. Now, is that comparable to the size that we just did on the other one? Let's need to take a look. Yeah, about. Mm-mm. Okay. These are looking good, though. Mm. These are kind of sharper mountains than the other ones. They're newer. So just gonna that nice sharp point that hasn't been eroded down yet. And then we can kind of transition back to these kind of slightly softer peaks. Yep, slightly softer peaks, thank you. Okay, cool. Now let's go over to this little range. All right, this one's going to be our more, sloped, kind of just the generic mountain we've been doing. Not flattened, not sharp, just kind of, they've been here for a while. It's like, but they're not worn down yet. Mm-mm. Okay, how's that look? That looks pretty good, honestly. All right, now I just gotta get the southern mountains. Okay, cool. Now, no, I don't like that. We're gonna flatten some of these mountains now that we're up here, so let's do. Okay. Nope. Too uniform. Okay. Check. And now the Southern Mountains. All right. Let's zoom out all the way. Now, how does this look? Honestly, that looks pretty good. Like that looks really good. Just to make sure we don't mess it up, I'm gonna do that. So, nope, leave that on. Okay. All right. Now here's the thing. Do we want to put in the details on the mountains now? Or do we want to do rivers? I don't want to do rivers. All right, let's see what we can do, shall we? Okay, for this we're gonna have to go into a brush. We're gonna need a really fine brush, yeah, we're gonna go down to 5. We're gonna need a good blue. Probably something like that, maybe. Yeah, that I think. How does this look? Like if we were to just draw like a little test river, right? Oh, that's a pretty good blue. Granted, I think we want to bump this max size up to like 8. Right? So now if we were to just be like, yeah, yep, definitely like that. Okay, so where do we have rivers? Well, obviously we have a couple coming down from the mountains, right? So we're just gonna kind of there, 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 there. Drink? All right, drinking. Okay, and then we're gonna have one that kind of meanders here. Now we're just gonna kind of branch off that a little bit. And then this one branches, right? Just kind of. That didn't join correctly. Yep, we're drawing rivers. Yep, so we're just gonna kind of do something like that. And consequently, from doing this, we're also mapping the terrain. Like, you'll notice, where's my cursor here? There's no rivers don't cross this, and it's a lake, so obviously there's a ridge of there's a hill there. Everything on this side goes to the lake. Everything on that side goes to the ocean. So just by spidering in these rivers, we're learning what the land is like. Nope, that one clashed. Am I drinking water? No, I'm not drinking water. Water tastes awful, and I don't have any of my flavored stuff. Yeah, I don't like it. There we go. Oh, thanks, hon. Oh, no, I just noticed. Just need to clean the tail of that. There we go. But yeah, there. Now we've got all of these rivers here, and we're kind of just giving them a watershed. Oh. And also, we should probably save. Okay. I mean, oh, well, I mean, I guess we have this little corner up here we gotta do. That's just kind of gonna be a larger basin unto itself, right? It's gonna. Oh, tablet. Tablet. Now we'll just reboot the tablet. Okay, there we go. Okay, this looks good. Six. Hey, little one. Just walking on my keyboard, huh? No. Okay. No, I don't like that. Okay. All right, what are we thinking? Okay, let's take a look. Not bad. Not bad at all. All right. Hopefully this. Oop, no. Okay. Where are we putting the rivers here? Well, we're definitely gonna have a little ones right here. You know, I can see one flowing to this bay. Right? Like, whoop. There goes the tablet. Try that again. Let's see, I can see one flowing here, but then there's like this ridge. It's gonna be like, just put this like really wavy river here, right? Something like that. We're just gonna have it spider all over the place. Yep, that didn't join. Hey y'all, how are you? Yeah, I get that one. So this is for a fantasy world that I'm building, and I'm doing a more systematic approach to make it a lot more natural feeling. Like you can see, we did this continent over here. It's got a lot of rivers, but it's also huge. Like this entire map is about 10% bigger than Earth. So, yeah. Right now we're working on this really large river that runs between these two mountain ranges. kind of spidering. But also just by putting the rivers in, we can kind of get an idea of like how the terrain is, because rivers will always flow down hills. So like just by not connecting these two and just kind of giving them their like watershed, then we can sit there and know that there's obviously a hill between these two that you can't get over. So let's go ahead and there.
Hi. And
No. Okay. And just gonna get some more of these in. Nope. Is that even connecting? Hang on. Oh, that's not even connecting. Hang on. Let's go fix that. Okay. Okay, this is going well. Then we're just gonna need to bring this one down over here. Just kind of keep branching out this guy so that we can kind of just get this idea of this watershed going. That you can see there's this like little invisible barrier where nothing will really cross right here. And just everything just kind of flows into it. Nope, don't like that. Also, anytime you get these little corners, it's a great place to connect to, because rivers don't really do pure corners. So making those junctions really helps. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just kind of just splitting the area over and over and over again. Oh yeah, the four. It's I basically started by I was gonna make a tabletop game using Warhammer rules, and then it evolved into what is the culture like, and then it evolved into I made a race, I made a language, I made a government, then I made a planet, and history, and animals, and plants, and it's grown big. How's this look now? Pretty good, honestly. I like that. But I think my tablet is dying. Well, crud. Can we? Let's get this watershed done, and then we'll set the tablet to recharge. Let's. Okay. This is looking good. Mm, go. Okay. I think that's all my tablet's gonna let me do today. Oh, but man, we made progress. Like, let's see, what was it? Here's where we started today. Just this. We got it outlined. We added in the mountains. Now we've added in the rivers. Ah, glorious. Love it. All right, but that's going to do it today. And I don't know when I'm going to be on again. I'm going to try for tomorrow. I'm going to try. It's going to be a late stream. It's going to be after midnight. You know what? Actually, no. No, because I want to actually dictate a lot of time to this. So let's do Friday. Because Friday I can start at noon, do midday stream, get a lot of time into this. We're going to really charge up the tablet so it doesn't give us any trouble. And then we're going to finish the rivers, add details to the mountains, and then I think we're ready for trade winds and ocean currents. And that's going to give us our biomes. And we can really go from there. All right, so, well, first things first, save. And then I'm going to wish all of you a lovely night. Bye-bye.